This is an introduction to using InDesign. If you haven't already, locate your InDesign program in the applications. Then you're going to use it a lot, so go ahead and drag it down to your toolbar or your dock. It might take it a little while to get going. You'll find it in the Adobe folder, and that's where you'll find Photoshop also. You can also drag that into your dock so it's ready to go every time. You don't have to go into the applications to search for it. When it starts up, it's going to ask you if you have a project started already or if you want to do something new. This time we're going to do something new. So I'm going to click New Document. It's going to ask me what size that I want, how many pages. You might just click OK and it'll automatically give you a regular page with, might say 0.5. This might be in picas, in which case this would be 6p. If not, don't worry about it. I'm going to turn this page sideways because we're going to make a program. And hit OK. Spin, 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 and then you're going to see your document. The pink is your margin. If you don't have things in inches, you can go over to InDesign, Preferences, and you can change the units and increments. And you'll see you have a number of options here. You can do inches, which since you live in the United States, you probably will choose. If you happen to like the other choices, maybe millimeters because you're used to those, go ahead. Picas and points is what is used in the newspaper. Okay. Again, that was under InDesign, Preferences, Units, and Increments. Then you will get inches. If your ruler isn't showing up already, you'll find that under View. You'll find a lot under View. So if you're missing your toolbar, you can go under View and find it, or Window, sorry. If you're missing the palette up here, you can find it under here too. So you'll see Tools is already selected. We have Swatches, which is over here for my colors. Pages, which shows me I have one document. And the Control Panel, that's this right here. If you need any more, when you get used to using InDesign, you'll find them under the Window. If you've lost something, look for Window and you'll probably just need to select it and it'll show up again. Now you have an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper turned sideways. It's turned sideways because that's the way programs are made. This would be the middle of the program, the inside of the program. You'd need a separate page for the outside. You can add one simply. The simplest way is to have your pages there and just click down here, create new page. And again, if you ever forget what any of these mean, you just have to swipe over them and it'll show you. So I'm going to add a page 2. I'm going to use one for the inside and one for the outside of our program. Okay. Inside, outside, and I can close pages. I can open it back up by clicking on it. Okay. If pages doesn't show up, remember, go here and you can find it. Alright, that's the simplest way. You can do it up here too, add page. I like to do it over here because I like to see how they're laid out, and when you get documents that are multiple pages long, it's easy to click on the pages. We do this for the newspaper quite often. Up here you have your tools. The pointer tool is the one that selects. It's actually called a selection tool. This selects inside the box. This will select the whole box, and if you have a picture box and you just want to move the picture inside, you don't want to move the position of the picture box, you'd use this. Those are your two selectors. This is an anchor. Don't worry about that yet until you get into design more and you understand it. You're going to be using mostly the text box. This is your text box. Whenever you want to use text or draw new text, you'd use that box, that tool to draw a box. And if you, yeah, there you go. and then you can write in it. Okay, I'll show you later how to turn that box sideways if you need to. You can change the font size and all that within there. You have to remember these are layers. So if I draw another text box and another one, although you can't see it, it's not three-dimensional, you have to remember that this one's on the bottom and this one is on the top. So if I click right here, the one that I'm going to select out of all three of those is the last one that I made, the one on top. If I try to go to the bottom, it's not going to work. Okay, you need to arrange. There's also a keyboard shortcut for selecting the one underneath, just hitting Option while you click on this button. But again, we'll get into that later. If I want to erase all those, I'm just going to take my selector tool, draw a box around all of them, and hit delete. That was the selector, and I just drew over all of them and hit delete. Line tool lets you draw a line. Again, if you want it to be straight, just like in other programs, you'd hold the shift key down as you drew, and it would stay straight. This tells you the size. If you want it to be a fat line, you can choose it there. If you want it to be a dotted line, you'd choose up here. Okay, again, I'm going to take the selector tool, draw a box over all of them, and delete. This lets you draw shapes, rectangle, circle, and I'm going to just double click on that one. I've selected it. All I did was hold it down, hold the mouse down, and then my choices came up. If I double click here, I get more choices. I could make a star just by changing that. So now when I draw, it's going to have a star shape. If you want it to have more points, just double click on it again, and as many points as you want it to have. If you want it to be more like slicing into the object, just crank that up too. And now you have that. Again, you can make it fat if you want. Fat lines, that's probably a little too much. Then you have the picture box. The picture box is a placeholder. It says, I'm going to have a picture there. When you're ready, and I'll review this later, I'm going to go quickly, you would click on the box, you go up to File, you would then go to Get Picture, or Place, sorry, and it should pop right up. There you go. So let's pick Caleb, and hit Open. And Caleb's in that picture, and he's the size that he was on my desktop. If I want him to fit in that box, I'd go up over here. If you again slide over, it'll tell you what it does. Fit content to the frame. Fit the frame to the content. This is shrink it down proportionately. And this is fill the frame. I don't care what you have to do to him to fill it. Okay. It could really distort your picture. If you decide you want to make this picture a little bit bigger, that's when you use this tool. And if you click, you'll see there's more of Caleb down here that's not showing up. You want to shrink it up, you'd grab a corner. If you do not hold the shift key while you do this, you're going to get weird. You could stretch Caleb and make him fat. You can make him tall. And this is what drove me crazy last year. Kids dropped those pictures in, they wanted to fit to the box, so they just shrunk it. So people would end up being fatter or thinner. Okay? You don't want to do that. If you resize this way, hold the shift key down, then click the corner, and you'll see it does it proportionately. Why they don't use it is because now they have to resize their box. Oh, but I wanted him to fit this way. Don't force something to fit. You're going to end up making it look distorted, and it's going to look funny. Again, that was this picture box. If you want it round, you can do that. If you want to put Caleb in a star, it's the same principle. So let's go down to 20, and let's make this 20. Draw our star. Go up to the selector, File, place, pick a picture of Caleb, and drop it in. Again, if you click right here, that's the size that will fit in here nicely. It fits the top and crosswise. If you want to change it, click here, hold the shift key down, and then drag. And you'll find, gee, maybe you're only going to get part of the picture that way. Well, then you might have to change your star shape. Okay. This rotates, but I'm going to tell you not to worry about that because it's easier to rotate using this. You can do it point by point by point. Why is only Caleb moving and not the whole star? Because I was in this tool last. I know that because this is a brown frame. If I want the whole star to move, I'd click that one and click Caleb, and now you see a blue frame. This one, brown frame. This one, blue frame. And then that would turn, if you want to skew the box, make it look like Caleb's coming or going. If you want to skew just the picture but not the box, again, brown frame, and then you can hit this and it'll start skewing Caleb. Okay, so you could use rotate here and then you can manually rotate if you want like that. It's easier if you just use this rotation tool. And pretty much these you don't really have to worry about yet. This allows you to color the inside of your box. I'm going to select, click the box, come on. Then I'm going to hit this. I'm going to say my swatches, and again, if your swatches aren't showing, go up under Window and choose your swatches. And let's say we want a blue background. Okay. If you don't want the background blue, you just want the frame, you would have clicked the frame either here or here. Whatever's in front is what you're going to be talking about. So you can do it over here on the left, or in the swatches you can pick this. And then we can do a pink frame. Somebody really wants to talk to me here on that. And let's pick it big so you can see the pink frame. Okay, so whatever's in front here is what you're doing. The same principle works for text. If I highlight the text, right now I want to put the T in front and I can turn the text green. Okay? And then I can make up here under the A, you can choose a different font. Trebuchet. We could make it bold. Over here I can pick the size. And this can make it all capitals. This says I'll make it all capitals, but what you actually hit the capitalization key, the shift key, it'll make that taller. So the C is taller. This puts, you know, the little #1 thing there. Here it puts it on the bottom. This is underline, this is strike through. If you need Caleb stretched a little bit, you just click on that. If Caleb, you need him to fit a little bit better, maybe you want to give it a negative, or you can keep putting negative until it's right on top of each other. This will make it taller. If you want Caleb to be a little bit taller but not any wider. This will make it wider but not any taller. Okay, and this will slant it. Slant that. If you need to change the paragraph style, go under there. A is for the characters, paragraph signs for the paragraph. You could center it. You could make it justified. You could make it over to the right. You can indent this way. You could tell it to indent the first line, but you don't want the other lines indented, or vice versa. You can make this to the right indent. This, you can make it a drop cap, so if we had a whole paragraph, it would drop just the first letter if you said you only want one letter. This is the spacing. You probably won't use those too much, and don't worry about this here. So here you have the basics, and you are ready to put together a sales brochure. For that, you'll have to look at the second video on Screencast-O-Matic if our website is not working yet.